once again.
Look, I have to explain myself because I'm in a different angle, but it's literally just because you see Zane, he's laying here.
It's the
Bro,
mood.
it's just a chill vibe right now.
He is snuggled up, y'all. We can't even see his face. He's taking all his mama's heat and her love.
Well, good thing is he a heat producer too, so we sharing right now. It's pretty warm.
Y'all, look at this little poppet thing I bought. This thing is so
You're a
relaxing.
child. I'm just kidding.
Huh? What?
I said you're a child.
No, we all are. We should all be children.
No, you're right.
This thing is so relaxing. All right.
I did. I never bought one of those, but I did used to have one. I have no clue what happened to it, but it was in the shape of Minnie Mouse.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was back when I was driving the school buses. One of the kids left it on my bus. I found it while I was cleaning up, and I left it on my bus for like 2 weeks. Nobody claimed it, so I was like, "It's mine now."
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Well,
Welcome
their
to
loss, your
another Bible
gain. Huh?
I said, "Welcome to another Bible study."
Yes. We are doing another Bible study, y'all.
Actually,
But this
okay,
time.
go for it. Hold on.
We are summarizing the chapter of Genesis that we just finished last week. So we're literally summarizing Genesis.
Yes.
And you know what life lessons or lessons that we learned from them. So that'll be interesting.
Yes. I have to be
And
honest with you, Mariah. I did not go back and do my review, so my summary is going to be mostly off of my recollection.
Your
But
dome, top of the dome. Well, I have high hopes because you do a good job at summarizing
yeah,
the chapters. So.
I was gonna say I could probably remember most of it. So
Yeah,
I know it's definitely some big lessons that I wanted to talk about. So we gonna be alright.
Okay, this is a challenge, at least for me. But okay. Well, should we pray before we do this, or should we wait for prayer?
We can since we got into the tradition of praying, we could go ahead and pray. I'll start us.
Mm-hmm.
Divine Father and Mother, thank you for holding this space for us to come together and learn and grow within you. Lord, I pray that you continue to use me and Mariah um, today and moving forward. Lord, I pray that you be with us as we uncover the big laws and lessons that we've learned from the book of Genesis, so that we may be able to have received all of the little fruits that you planted in this chapter, Lord. And I pray for the salvation of your people. Anybody that might be listening in, tuning in, um, tapping in at this time, or at a later time, whenever it is that they're listening, that you be with them, that you guide them, that you protect them, keep your hand covering over their lives. Um, Lord, and I pray that anybody that may be going through any affliction, any trouble, any doubt, any pain, that they be released of that if it's being your will, or if it not be exactly that they are released from that, that they learn the lessons from that season, so that in their next season they're able to thrive beyond surviving, but actually thriving, actually becoming who they're meant to be becoming. I just pray for some energy and some water. You want to add something?
Um, I just pray. I pray. Um, just for the opportunity that we get every day, just for being alive. Um, and it's just a day that we can strive to just show up to be our best version of ourselves and show up to our goals and things that are going to bring us like purpose, and just bring us a kind of a better life, honestly.
Yeah.
um and I pray that we are all protected. I pray our spaces are protected, um and that me and Leo right now receive your messages and wisdom that we need to apply and kind of put out into the world so that they can reach your people. So in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. So I guess we should just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
We can jump right into it. So um basically, um I have them in order, guys. So starting from kind of the first chapter. um I don't know about a
Quickly
lesson.
explain what we're doing real quick. So Mariah's going to be talking mostly about chapters 1 through 25, and then
Hmm.
I'll be picking up 26 through 50. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how we're gonna split it up.
Yeah.
But of course, we're both going to be chiming in with, our thoughts and opinions,
Yeah.
lessons that we've learned, that we've taken away. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So um I guess I kind of just think it's interesting, on the amount of days that it took for God to kind of finish making the world. And then it just talks about on the seventh day, like he rested. But it just had me just thinking about like chakras and just the symbolism around the number seven, like 7 days of the week, 7 days it took him to finish. Um, and just our seven chakras.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, when I was younger, well, I didn't know anything about chakras back then, but when I was younger, I would be like, oh, it took literally just 1 week for him to create the whole entire world and everything in it, the whole universe and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but now that you say that too, it is like, you know, I can see how it connects with the root. I
Yeah.
mean, with the chakras.
Yeah.
It's like the first day where he just created light.
Hmm.
The beginning of everything.
Yeah. And
I
I honestly opened up this book today and they're talking about like physics. I think that's what it is, physics. And it's kind of like mind blowing. I don't know much about physics, like the actual grasp of it, but it was this book with kind of the main theories of physics. And it was so interesting because a lot of it, they're talking about the energy and they're talking about atoms and molecules inside of the body and how it works in the body. And, like it's like at the end of the day, we're all like energy, like whether you believe it or not, because it's literally scientifically proven. Like we
yeah,
are all energetic and this world is energy.
everything's in it.
So it definitely clashes together,
Yeah,
so when we're talking about chakras, like it is really important because it's just like it's just how our body kind of operates, like our spine, the base of our spine. And you just hear it in so many different cultures, like it's definitely a thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And
Like,
you brought up Adam too, and it made me think about like well, you brought up atoms, but it also made me think about like when I was younger. I somehow connected the dots of okay, we got all these atoms in our body, and the first man made was Adam.
yeah.
We're literally made of atoms. We're made of atoms.
Literally, I was just thinking about that when you said it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Before you said it, we was on the same page.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait, what's Eve symbolizes?
That's what I was always trying to figure
Everything.
out too.
Everything.
Hmm. But I
Eve.
think maybe okay, I don't know, but what I was also going to say was wait, I forgot. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Hey, I was gonna say something good too.
well, let's wait a second. I was trying to see something, so.
Go ahead, cause I can't.
Oh no, I was just trying to do some math on something. I'm not about to. I'm not gonna explain until I do. This even made any sense, but I'll come back to that. That requires me counting the letters in the alphabet.
Oh,
Going to the
well, there's
end.
26 letters in the alphabet.
Okay, okay, hold on, that helps. So, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to that though to see if any of that makes any type of connection.
Well, I think what I was gonna say was I was just gonna speak on, you know, now now a reflection after reading the book of Genesis. I think it's really interesting how you can kind of go back and look at, you know, how the beginning of time, the first from the first week, and how like everything that the Lord said in the first week kind of echoed out throughout the rest of the book of Genesis. But for me
Mm,
specifically, the one that I kept remembering was about the first fruits. You know, I think it was I want to say it was day 4 or 5 when he created all the plants and trees and earthly things. And he
mm-hmm.
was like he was talking about every fruit will bear of its own. That was the one that I kept remembering. But um, you know, I I remember I definitely remember like having some thoughts and references back to each of those each of the days from the first week that kept
Mm.
popping up later on in the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of do get what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. So, what I was doing to not like disregard, I was just trying to figure out if there was some like numerology in Eve. So I was just basically doing like A is one, B is two.
Oh,
So, which kind of adds up to 5 for E plus 21 for for V, and then 5 again, which adds up to 31. And I'm like, most of the calendar in the year have 31 days.
interesting. And then 31 adds up to 4, 3 and
Mm,
1, which 4 is
yeah.
the number of stability, foundation. Um,
Night routine, night block. Shower,
no,
meditate, breathe, and relax.
see, I'm supposed to be in the shower right now.
Oh, Zane's so cute over there. He's not. He look cozied up.
It's gonna
But yeah,
suck because as soon as I get off this live, I gotta get myself ready. And I was taking a nap before we got on camera, and so
yeah.
he still has to eat his dinner, go outside a potty, and he's gonna have all this freaking energy because he's sleeping.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
He liked to do this thing. I don't know why he does it, but like when we go downstairs and I go to let him out the back door so he can potty, he like jumps up like he's gonna open the door himself.
Yeah, he get too excited.
Yeah. And then when we're coming back in the house, he'll like wait by the screen door until I open it, and then he just like catapults himself into the house. And it's not necessarily like he's chasing Chi Chi. Sometimes he is, so, but he
Hmm.
just likes to run. He's
Oh,
so
okay.
fast.
That's hilarious. Girl, better never let that dog run away. He gonna be gone like lightning.
He tried at one time, bro.
Oh no.
I know, okay, I know we are live, but I was just telling him what this one. Okay, he did one time when I first got him. He because I got him from the Humane Society, so he was a stray. That's what they told me. But he's a super friendly dog. So
Mhm.
from what I understand, probably like the beginning part of his life being a stray, like he wasn't hurt or abused or anything. He probably had like friendly, really nice people around him. Um, but he's just extremely friendly and he's used to being loose and wild. And so when I first got him, like the first month, I would let him out the door, and just I'm kind of casual, so like I wasn't like I have a what do you call it, like a leash in the backyard,
Yeah.
so that because my I don't have a fenced in backyard. I have a big backyard, but it's not fenced, so that he can be able to roam around in the yard and do what he want to do. But like when I first got him, I would just like let him out the door without like the leash, and then I would go like put the leash on him out there.
Mhm.
And he decided one morning, this is when I was still working at BRP, he
Mhm.
decided one morning that he wanted to take off immediately as soon as we got out the door. And my neighbors got his kids getting ready for school. And I'm outside. Literally, the only thing I was wearing was a Savage X Fenty bra. And I'm sitting here, a Savage X Fenty bra and some shorts,
Girl.
bro. And I had to chase this dog down the street. He ran on my whole block, bro.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, bro,
This
what are you
girl said a 50 raw.
doing?
Oh my goodness. Boy,
Like,
that is
the
funny.
neighbors got a good view that day.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad, he was okay. He was able to go get that dog, girl.
Yeah, eventually,
Great.
what happened, why he stopped, was because he thought it was a game. He thought I was just chasing him. But I was running after him so hard, and I had slipped on some grass, I think. And I
Oh no.
fell, and he came back because I fell.
Oh, he's loyal. He cares.
He's like, "Are you okay?"
Oh no.
Like, no, dog, you got me running down these streets.
Well, now you know. In the future, you might have to play that to get him to come back. Like, Negro, this is not a game. This is
For
real
real, dog.
life. Get back over here.
For real.
Wait, hey, girl. Well, I'm glad he came back though, cause ooh, yeah, poor dog. Okay, that was a fun story. We all wish we could have saw that. Oh my gosh. Um. Okay. Um. I guess I just really think it's still interesting though, like how he forms people from the ground. He keeps saying from like dust.
Oh yeah, he made
Um.
us from dirt.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you kind of would think like I don't know, like for some reason, like from the heavens, like something about heaven, like I don't know, some type of conclusion with
I
that.
mean, I don't know. It makes sense to me for the simple fact that he went ahead and made Earth. Well, he made the separation from heaven and earth before he made
Mhm.
any creatures or nature or any of that. So it made sense to me. But what I think about too is like I saw this picture on Facebook. It was like a giant person, and it was like a giant person, but they had died, and they were like laying on the ground, and they were starting to decay over time. But
Mhm.
the only thing that didn't decay was the bones, but their body started turning into like the land, and so there's like trees and stuff growing over, and it looks like it's like at first it's just a giant person, but over time it looks like a little village.
Mm.
So I just think that goes into like, what we, what, kind of like the law of equivalent exchange. You got to lose something to be able to create something. Um,
Yeah.
but I think more so not so. So I think actually now that I said that, it's not the law of equivalent exchange. I think it's, I don't know what it's called, but back, kind of just return it back into what we come from.
Mhm.
What we were born of the dirt, we're born of just dust, and we turn back into that when we die. That and it
Hmm.
says somewhere in there where he breathed life into Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With in
the
his mouth, like literally breathes life
in
into
his
him through his.
nostrils.
Yeah.
hmm Which,
Yeah.
and I think that's like, okay. So I know. So I feel like that's a major symbolism right there. That instead of saying he breathed into his mouth, he breathed the life into his nose.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Somebody come up to you and just right up.
Like, look, if you've ever like, if somebody's ever done it to be funny, like, I feel like it was done to me, and I think it's not something you ever want. It's weird. It literally, girl, that air is gonna go to your head. Like, it's weird.
So, that's interesting. Then when you say it like that, it goes to your
Yeah.
head, because that's where our brain is.
Yeah.
And our brain is what pretty much controls the rest of our body.
Mhm. And your mind needs oxygen.
hmm
It needs oxygen. It needs your blood up there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
Um.
it speaks volumes too on the fact that how we are created differently from other animals, because we are able to think ahead of time, think about the past. We're not so instinctual. We can kind of plan, when we can communicate, and we have all these abilities that animals don't have. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's just interesting.
Yeah. For sure.
So the brain is the gift. The human brain is the gift of the spirit. It's kind of how I see it. And then
Yeah.
if we're not using our brain, which oh,
What? What?
I think, because okay, I know you're gonna hit on this later as we continue, but I was just thinking, like, how as generations pass, people are starting to live less and less longer.
Yeah.
And I think about like the power of our brain. You know what Adam and Eve was able, they probably would have had eternal life until until they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and they lived up to almost 1,000 years old. And I think it's just like, I think it might have something to do, because what you're talking about with the oxygen going to the brain, and then what we're talking about, just the brain runs the whole
Mhm.
body. Like maybe that since they weren't so deeply connected in the spirit, like how they originally were in the Garden of Eden, that there's parts of their brains that they're not able to use, and
Ooh.
which is making them lose life essence. And the
Mm.
less that we use our brains, the less longer we're gonna live. And I
Yeah.
and I think about it when I say this, I think about personally, like, okay, I used to be a healthcare worker, a CNA, and I worked with dementia Alzheimer patients, right? Me and Mariah, and you see how fast, you see how fast, especially like when a person is admitted into like what's it called, like a nursing home.
Yeah.
When a person is admitted to a nursing home and they're not being active and they don't have anything to stimulate their brain, they start to decay really, really fast, really
Mhm.
fast. But like, and I think about like somebody like Bob Proctor. He lived to be 90 something years old, and that man used his brain constantly every day. He was thinking about the law of attraction every single day. That was what he practiced. Even up to the day he died, he was very with it, very with it, very wise. Still creating videos. You know,
Mm.
so
Interesting.
I think it really has a lot to play with. If we're not using our brain, just like how they say if we don't use it, we lose it. We're not
Yep.
using our brains, it literally takes away life from us.
Yeah. Yep. It'll literally take your memories. Like
Hmm.
take those memories, that things that you learn if you don't use it too.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Yeah, girl. Hmm. Okay.
it's
That's a good
important
one.
because I gotta go potty now. I need-
No. This girl's gonna have to take a moment because she's gonna have to go. There's just no way you're gonna be able to wait. Just
I
go.
apologize. I'll be right back.
Water break. Get your water. Oh man, that water good. Mm. That was interesting. Mm. I'm gonna try to like speed it up a little bit because this is gonna be a long video. We only made it through. We're not even on chapter 3 yet. Mm, mm, mm. Um. Mm, mm, mm. Mhm. Well, while we're waiting, I mean, I might as well show you the book I bought. This is not a promo, but I went to Barnes and Noble today. Literally saw this book recommendation on social media. It's called Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. And I'm very interested to kind of see what this book is about because people are commenting like, "Ooh, it's life changing."
Come on.
So that'll be interesting. Sorry, I was just trying to create some small talk
Oh,
with
yeah.
the book I got.
Come on, Jen.
But okay, so on to the next one. Girl, I just want you to know we're like 30 minutes in already.
Yeah, no.
So that's why I was like, girl, you need a part two. But what we got? Oh, so when that whole thing happens with Adam and Eve and where Eve eats from the tree of, knowledge of good and evil, um and then that serpent basically comes in and like twists words around and makes her second guess what she knows should be correct. Like she knows she's right, but she got influenced heavily
Yeah,
because somebody put thoughts into her mind. And in her head, it was like, oh, you know what? You're right. Like that sounds good. Like, yeah, like almost like what was I even thinking? Like.
yeah,
And that's just had me thinking like the power of what a person, can do, um, how they can influence you. And it's like it's really important, you know, kind of who you surround yourself with. You hear that
yeah,
all the time. Like it's really important And you got to make sure like you're hanging around good, people so that, if they do influence you, it's something good. Like it's not bad,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was like kind of a good lesson right there.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that that kind of makes me think about what I learned just diving into spirituality about the difference between a soul and a spirit, because there is a difference, you know.
mm,
Like our soul, like a soul, that's what we hold. That's it's like literally the gem, the jewel. What we hold is the soul, but
mhm,
the spirit is like God, the spirit of truth, or the spirit of lies, the Jezebel spirit. And so
mm,
the spirit is what holds the influence over our soul. Our soul isn't strong enough to have the influence. It's literally we accept a spirit to come into us, and that's how anybody who has influence is able to have that influence. It's because of the spirit that they hold within them. It's not them, you know.
you're
Is it?
saying like even if they're influenced, like you're saying, if they're influencing you with bad behaviors,
Yeah.
that
So
spirit.
if it's a bad spirit influencing you with bad
Mm,
behaviors, you know, that's that's an evil spirit influencing you. Or it so you okay, how do I say it? So what you were saying with the power of influence, I really think that it really matters on, like you said, who you keep yourself around, what are you allowing, what you are allowing into your space. And you have full capacity to choose if you agree with it or if you don't. That's the free will that we have. But we have to be conscious and aware in the moment and be
mm,
able to discern properly in order to
mm.
know, okay, this ain't a really good influence on me right now.
Yeah. Girl, this got me thinking too, like it could be even with not even just people, but certain things that you're doing, like behaviors.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna bring this up. I hope I don't get a slash for this, but this video I watched, right? I just wanna say I don't think weed is bad, to an extent.
Yeah.
But this man was just explaining his personal story, so it was more like I think he was in a dark place and he was smoking weed, and I think heavily he was smoking weed,
Hmm.
and I think, he said he was, like, listening to some, like, crazy music too. As he started smoking weed, he started to start listening to some just trap music, like, just negative music trap music.
Yeah.
Um, and he said like he experienced probably like I think it 2 or 3 times before he kind of threw in the towel with smoking weed. But he said like one time he was walking and literally like it felt like somebody was like grabbing his hair or something, like rubbing it or something. He said.
Mm.
Like, he freaked him out like crazy. Like, he said he was talking to his girl, he's walking down the sidewalk, and all of a sudden he stops and she's still talking and going. She don't realize that he stopped, and he was like for a moment he had got like paralyzed, like he couldn't move for a second until she turned around.
Oh wow.
And like I don't know, like he kind of like got out of it or something kind of, but it's like something was taking a hold on this man and he was
Yeah.
freaked out. And he talked to a family member who was like by biblical, like a pastor in his family or something. And he
Hmm.
was like, yeah, that sounds like what that man say, like you got some stuff that you need to deal with
Yeah.
and you need to stop trying to avoid it with the
Trying to
stuff
push
that you're
stuff
doing.
down
You
with
need to handle
substance.
your business,
Yeah. Hmm.
girl. But I think I think he said like he explained what happened. Him and his girl's like, okay, we're gonna stop. I think he said he stopped for like 2 weeks, came back, and it kind of happened again to him. And he was like, I think after that is when he stopped. And
Yeah.
he has this whole spiritual story. I wish I knew who his name was, but I don't remember because it's a video I came across, popped up on my feed. But girl, that was crazy.
Yeah. Well, not like I agree with you with, I don't think that weed is a bad to an extent, it is like it's like medicine, you know. And so just like any other medicine, if you abuse it, it can be really harmful to you, you know.
Yeah.
And then
But
on
I
top of it too, he's listening to like bad music. And so with music, music is a channel where those type of energies, like any type of spirit, just because of the sound and the frequency, um, that's an easy way for them to come into you, because you're listening to the music and you're dancing to it, you're singing to it, you're vibing to
yeah.
the music, whatever music it is. So just because you're listening to it, that's like you agreeing to whatever
Yeah.
they're saying. And whatever they're saying, whether they saying it, look, the music is really tricky
Ooh.
because you could listen to music and the sound and the frequency goes like a tornado like this, right? The frequency of it. And you listen to it forward, it sounds like one way, right? If you listen to it backwards, it could sound a whole different way. And
Mhm.
you never know. You never know unless you got a way to record it and listen to it what they're saying backwards. You know,
Mm.
it could be a whole
That's
different.
actually interesting in the sense of them songs where you literally can't understand nothing they're saying.
Hmm.
You remember there was an era where like that was a thing, and it was like, what the heck did he just say? Like you can't even hear
What
them.
what Missy Elliott is the African nickel plant yet?
I'm not really talking about her, but I guess.
I mean, that's an example that I think of.
Oh
But
well.
I know what she's saying, so it wasn't nothing bad.
Hmm.
But that is like an example of what you mean, like
Yeah.
and
Girl,
going
I'm
through
just
it.
thinking about. I remember there was all these rappers were literally just rapping it, but like you don't even know what they're
Oh,
saying.
yeah,
Literally, don't even sound like English.
yeah.
It was ridiculous, but it was a thing, and like it was repetitive. But
And that's an easy way. That's an easy way for demons to come up and into you, and take over your body, take over your space, take over your soul.
hmm,
Because people
yeah,
listen to music all the time, they're unaware, and they're like,
yeah,
"Oh, this song a bob, this is it," and they don't know why they feel drained and tired, and that they got all these
yeah.
complications, and mentally they got anxiety, depression, stress, all these things happening to them, and they think it's just because of the day to day things that's happening in their world, but it
Hmm,
very much has something to do with the type of music that they're listening to.
yeah, yep. So I'm saying that spiritual like era music is really nice. Spiritual music, like indie music, just uplifting music, like music that talk about just empowering, and motivating. Like
Yeah,
that music hit. It makes you feel good. It makes you kind of feel ready and motivated to do what you got to do. Pump yourself up.
yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Um.
I wanted to quickly comment on this though, because I know we kind of went off on music, but
Mhm,
there was something else I thought about back when. So when the serpent came and kind of tricked Eve like that, I thought it
mhm,
was really interesting. I still wonder. I think we talked about it before. If if it was that they could understand what like they could communicate with animals at that time. And now I wonder even more because there was there was whatever, I don't remember what chapter it was, but there was that chapter when everybody's kind of speaking a different, like a slightly different language. Everybody's kind of divided, right? And God came and he separated them so that now everybody speaks a different language and they can't understand each other now, right?
mm, yeah.
So I wonder if that was the same thing that happened with the serpent. Like they used to be able to understand animals, communicate with animals,
Yeah.
and then after that whole thing happened, they just weren't able to communicate with them anymore.
That makes sense. And also, like, when you think about there's still like different cultures where they've kind of mastered on how to like communicate. Like, you ever see those crazy stories where they're next to these aggressive animals or a snake and they somehow like manage to kind of control the animal? Like, somehow, like, there's some type of ancient wisdom that they hold and pass down. That's what I love about like
Uh,
the like tribes and different cultures. They they do a better job at passing things down how like
yeah,
we're supposed to pass down.
right.
Like there ain't nothing, in my family that I can think of passed down except like
Some
just
trauma.
like a simple thing. My great grandma, like she had a whole basement full of canned jars of fermented like fruit, like fermented like fruits and vegetables and stuff in
Okay.
canned jars. So like if anything happened, she would have food. Like if the market's closed, like she would have food in her basement to eat.
Yeah. Which I think that was wise if we go back and look at Joseph, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. So
What are you doing, dog?
but um yeah, girl. Like I definitely wish I kind of my great great grandma is still alive, but all her memory isn't really there. Um I don't know how good it is, but I would be interested in like knowing, would have been interested. I feel like we all should know, just kind of a deeper past, like of
Yeah,
some type of ancient stuff, like from her own mouth,
yeah.
like take it back to a further generation. Was that one? That's like a fifth generation.
Hmm.
Her
Well, and I
mom.
think that kind of goes too with like, we know the spirit of truth, which would be the Holy Spirit. I just call it the spirit of truth. The spirit of
Mhm.
truth really goes through the word. We can get, they say, the word of God. We can get the word from the Bible, but the Bible doesn't hold everything. We talked about that too. So there's
Yeah.
just certain things that needed to be passed down through communication, you know,
Mhm.
which I think goes into why we don't live so long because there was just
Mhm.
certain things that wasn't communicated, that wasn't
Yeah.
passed down to the next generation,
Yeah.
which disconnected us away from the spirit more and more and more,
Mhm.
connected us with the flesh more and more and more.
Mhm.
You know, I know that
Yeah.
definitely some things that I wish I would have known that I've had to kind of just do off of my own digging, understanding, and searching in the spirit.
Mm.
That I wish I would have been able to talk to my grandparents about.
Yeah. Yes. For real.
I
Mhm.
think though too, with that being said, although there is information that needed to be passed down from word of mouth, there is still information that we're able to tap into, reach just
Mhm.
by getting connected in the spirit. You've
Mhm.
ever heard of the what's it called, the Akashic records? You
Mm.
know, you never heard
No.
of it.
Sure. It sounds familiar, but I'm not aware.
The Akashic records is a spiritual term for the vault. It's like a library vault of information that we have available to us in the spirit
Oh.
that we just
Yeah.
don't know of.
How
Average
to
doesn't
access.
know about
Okay.
how to access it. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense actually. That kind of goes into like people who do the past life reading, like if you believe like that you're reborn, so you have many past lives. Um, there's people that actually do that work, and it's kind of interesting, to kind of see that, from the
yeah,
videos that's been out there, because they really feel it and they go through the emotions and they kind of wake up like, you know, feeling almost like a weight has been off because you kind of have an understanding of why you do the things that you do,
yeah,
like why you feel certain things that you do because kind of associated with past experiences that you've experienced it. So you're like, why, like, you know what I'm saying, like why do I get triggered or something like that when this stuff happens? Like it's
yeah,
deeper than just the things you've experienced here, but it's like deeper, you know because it could be a pattern or something that happened in your past life that if your body holds on to it, because your body is gonna remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. Girl, I kind of forgot what you started talking about that I brought that up. Oh, the cosmic. Whatever you just
The
said.
Akashic records.
Akashic records, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I was just gonna say, we was talking about weed earlier. You know, I have a thing, like, I have a thing when people kind of touch the natural ways of how something's supposed to be grown, because I was just thinking about the industry. I'm just thinking about the industry, especially like I live in a state where it's legal to smoke weed and buy it. But I'm just like, how much like modification did they do to that marijuana? That's what makes me a little iffy. Like,
Yeah.
dude, give me a Rastafari guy and give me some like straight from the root. Like I know he did. You know what I'm saying?
I want to get my from the islands.
Like I want the source, okay? That's all I'm saying.
No, I agree with you, because it's just like, if you think of it like that, it's just like the food industry.
Yeah,
It started off really good and good for us, but now we
once
don't know
they
what the
touch
heck
it,
is going with our food, and we just
once
eating it.
once some scientists touch your stuff, it's like ain't no going back. Like,
You stop standing on me.
All right, and then what do I got here next? Okay, so when Cain and Abel, Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve's son, um, when the Lord came into their house, and Cain and Abel both had gifts, but Abel's gift was favored and Cain's wasn't. And the Lord looked at Cain and was like, "What's wrong with your face? Like, why are you looking like that?" Literally,
Yeah.
he's like, "Why are you looking so disappointed, like bothered?" You know.
Which I think is
And
kind of like, I thought it was kind of bogus, for the simple fact that, that's, if I spent some time giving you a gift and you was just like, oh no, this one right here though, oh, all praise to him, hallelujah, yeah, yeah, you the one, you the 1, 2,
I
and
get,
3.
no, I know, and I
Like
was
my
like,
face
I
would be
had that
twisted
same
up too.
reaction, huh?
Yeah, yeah, my face would be twisted up too. Like
Yeah.
dang, like
I
and
had that same reaction, but wait, here's the lesson right now that I got. The lesson that I got from that is that when you give a gift, right? What did I say? When you give a gift, it shouldn't be like for a reaction. It really should be like the genuine kindness of your heart. Like you want to give that to somebody. And you shouldn't expect a reaction. You shouldn't expect a feeling. You shouldn't expect anything back. Like it should really just be a genuine act of kindness. So that way, if somebody doesn't like your gift or something like that, you're not disappointed because your intention was pure, and it's not it was more so for you to give them that gift.
I
It
like
was,
that.
yeah,
That's a new way of looking at that, because the way I've always heard of that was just like, oh, you're supposed to give your first fruits to the Lord. But no, that kind of goes deeper,
yeah,
It's more about the genuinity of just giving a gift without expectation.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, I like how you uncovered that. That was deep.
Yes, girl. Mhm.
That was deep. Because I think even in the English Standard Version, it didn't even necessarily say that Cain gave him a piece of fruit off the ground, or where he got his fruit from. It didn't necessarily say that Abel took. Wait, no, it did say that he took like his finest, freshest sheep, but it didn't say it was like the first lamb or whatever. It was just the freshest one.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I mean, I just think that was a really good perspective.
Yeah, girl, because I just think like I think that it was a bold scene, but it's like there had to been some deeper meaning into it.
Almost.
And I just feel like God wouldn't be like that. Like he should be a grateful man, you know. But I'm like, that shit. I mean, ooh, it had to go deeper than that. And then I just started thinking about it, and that's really what came to my mind because okay, this is what made me think really hard because the way that the Lord was like, "Why are you looking like that?" And that had me thinking like, like what is I don't know the right word, but it was like kind of funny and goofy. Like, what do you mean why I'm looking like that? You
Yeah.
know? So it was kind of to make him think, like,
Yeah.
why are you looking like that?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and
just
that, I
because.
mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to
Hmm.
say, when I think of when the Lord would ask questions, the Lord already knows the answer to
Yeah.
questions. So it is really to make you think about it.
Yes. Yes, girl. And moving forward, every time God asks a question, we need to think deeply into that question.
Yeah.
Is to make you think.
Mhm.
And then, um, hold on. Oh, God told Abel, if you don't do well, sin is crouching at the door, slash darkness, but you must fight those bad thoughts. And I thought that was interesting too, but
Yeah.
because it had me thinking about all the kind of negative things that we may do or that we may go to for comfort or something. And it just had me thinking like our dark desires, right? Like it goes deep, like, and this for like generally for like anybody, like, whatever they go through,
Yeah.
whether it's like alcohol, drugs, um like food, um um I don't know, just like some type of self-sabotaging stuff, right?
Hmm.
um I think I wrote down some examples too, like fighting, stealing, trying to bring revenge to somebody because they did you wrong,
Yeah.
um, meaningless sex, and then I put even, pornography.
Yeah.
So those are dark desires, and it's like if you doing that stuff, darkness is literally waiting by the door, by your window, waiting to latch onto you by
Yeah.
you doing those self-destructive things.
Yeah.
So that's deep.
Yeah. I
Like,
like how you put that too, because it's really like when you think about it metaphorically, like picture the image of some just darkness crouched down right there by the
mhm.
corner of your door. It's really like you involving yourself in that dark behavior, and it's because of where your mind goes back to the mind,
Yeah.
where your
Yeah.
mind goes once it goes, in that place, and you accept it,
Mhm.
then it's like you invited it in.
Yeah, that darkness is making you happy, and that's bringing your happiness. And darkness knows like that happiness you feeling is the bad type of happiness.
Yeah.
It's not the right one, right?
Well, and it's like hiding your shame and your
Yeah.
guilt and whatever.
Yeah. Or yeah, bringing those to the surface, right? In that moment, like, cause you feeling some type of way, cause deep down you're not supposed to do that stuff. So those type of feelings are surrounding you, and it's like
Well,
that darkness.
I think in the moment where when like you probably not thinking about it, you
Mhm.
know, like it probably thinking about it beforehand, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe this isn't a good thought. But like for example, when
Oh.
Cain decided he was going to kill his brother Abel, like he probably wasn't thinking about it. And then even afterwards, when God asked him, "Where's your brother?" He didn't show any remorse at all. He's just
Mhm.
like, I don't know what happened to that, bros. So I think it's a small window right before, right before that darkness consumes you,
Mhm.
where it's like, where you can really sit and think about how is this going to affect me mentally, spiritually, physically? How's this going to affect my future? And like really sit and think about it. If it's going to bring you shame or if it's going to bring you pleasure, and weigh your options with it.
Yeah. I personally feel though, like too, like before you make the decision to do it, you're thinking like good and bad. Then before you even start to indulge, like you already made the decision you're going to indulge. And like that, like during that time, you're still thinking about it, even though you're going to do it. So now you're feeling the shame and stuff. And then after you get done doing it, then you feel like shit because you did that shit that you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So I personally think it's 3 little points. But that's just me. I guess 3 points of the whole back and forth with yourself is what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that depends on the person too.
Yeah. Mm. I guess, okay, I'm gonna just say this real quick because we were pretty much talking about this, but I wrote down Cain was worried that somebody would come after him and kill him when the Lord kicked him out of wherever he was at. He was like, if anybody kills you, punishment will be, after he killed his brother, he was worried that people were going to kill him because he was going to be put out into the land, like on his own.
Yes, yeah.
And he was scared, and God was like, well, if anybody punishes you, they will get 7 times the punishment themselves for what you're getting, right? 7 times worse. And it just had me thinking, like, don't take matters into your own hand. And it's like you can't heal, like, what is it? You can't choose like violence over violence. And it just had me thinking about all these movies they've created are literally just so sinful, because when we talk about, like, say, and I know this hits really deep and it's like rooted in our mind, like if you kill somebody in my family, like I'm coming after you, right? You kill me, you kill my loved one, I'm gonna, like, it's revenge, you know. And I know it's a strong, intensive emotion, but it's like the pattern, right? It keeps on going. It's almost like a curse, like a society curse that keeps repeating itself because it never stops. Because there's always going to be one person that's going to do that revenge stuff. And I just felt like that was really deep. And then it had me thinking about, like, I think I read something like in the United States, like the most crime that's committed, like basically is black is the most race that kills black. Like they kill their own race. It's the black community. And kind of brings me back to when we're talking about the movies, and we're talking about the gangster movies, and we're talking about the music industry. And that's just why how strong that music industry can get. And
that's the influence that they're in.
Yeah, it literally programs these people's minds.
Well, it made me think about too when you just said that. And I know we're not here yet, but in the beginning of Exodus, when we're reading about Moses, and Moses went to the 2 Hebrews that were fighting each other, and he asked them, "Why are y'all fighting?" And they was like, "Who are you?" And they're fighting probably because they feel oppressed, they feel affliction, and they took it out on each other, not knowing who else to take it out on. You know, and they're both in the situation, so they only know to take it out on each other. So it's like, it makes me think about too, like the oppression that Black people have faced for over 400 years, and that's been beaten into. It's like a mindset that's been beaten into you for over 400 years, and that's all you know. And then you indulge in, repetitive movies and music that's just affirming these things. And changing or reshaping or trying to rebuild you up from all the oppression that you've been facing. That's all you know to do is to kill your Black folks, kill your brothers.
And then you think about the prison system. that ain't rooted to help nobody. Like, unless that person in that prison cell finds their own way out mentally,
Yeah.
they're not getting out.
Yeah.
They're not getting out. Like, not even just saying like physically, but like mentally, they're not getting out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a mental battle they have to go through within themselves and decide to flip that change. Otherwise, they're just going to be repeating that cycle.
Yeah.
There's people that change during the prison time, and there's people that just won't. Or, girl, it's just a messed up system, that whole prison thing.
Yeah.
That's another story for another day.
Yeah. I
But
just heard a story about Racine County Jail, and I'm not gonna share it, but it's a
yeah,
hot mess.
yeah. What do I have here? Um, mm, oh, okay. I thought it was interesting. So the title, for chapter 6 in Genesis was called "Increasing Corruption on Earth," and um, it was just saying like every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil. They were talking about the men, and the
Mm-hmm.
Lord saw, and he regretted making man, so he flooded everything, reset the earth, because the earth was filled with violence, and kids were being conceived corruptly. And I wonder if he meant like, I guess what comes in my head when people are having meaningless sex, and then they have an accident, and then the person ends up like pregnant, or if they're cheating on their significant other and they get somebody pregnant. Like, I wonder if that was what he was talking about, corruptly, or
Oh,
simply just having like lust sex instead of trying to have a relationship.
for the kids?
He wrote kids were being conceived corruptly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I guess I
I
think because
mean,
he was.
that makes sense because it does say in that chapter too, when men started realizing that women were just
Hmm.
beautiful. Hmm.
Yes, that's exactly what happened there in that chapter.
So
The thought.
it just there is that meaningless sex that they're just having,
Hmm.
reproducing and not not taking care of the children in a godly manner,
Hmm.
in a lawful way, you know,
Yeah.
which is probably also, it makes me think about uh, who was that? Was it Judah? I think it was Judah when he slept with one of the ladies, and he ended up having 3 children out of wedlock. Then
Mm.
and then he tried to get his sons to get married, and they were struck down and killed by God because of the wickedness that was going on in their mind,
Yeah.
which really makes sense of that, as in their dads trying to make sure that they get married before they start having children and having sex,
Hmm.
even though that's not what he did. And so they didn't see that growing up. And so it just doesn't make sense, you know, for them as they're facing that reality, and whoever knows whatever thoughts was going on in their minds about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's deep. um
Girl, this about to be like 5 videos.
yeah, I know. I'm almost done,
You
but
didn't even get through chapter 10. I
I'm
mean, you didn't
almost.
even get through the first 10.
No, I am. It's like it's kind of fast forward from here, but I just had wrote down some of the dates from the Noah's Ark. Like it was saying like October 1st, the mountains were seen.
Oh,
Just the
that
top of the
actual dates.
yeah, because they put dates in there and that they put them, they worded them kind of weird, but I just wrote them down because I wanted to see like the correlation. And it was like July 17th, the ark rested on the mountains. This was during the flood. And then October 1st, the mountains were seen. So the water was starting to kind of get lower. And then after 40 days later, which I kind of math out to be November 9th, girl, which is today. And because it said 30, it said like, yeah, 40 days later. And I was kind of doing the math. Give or take maybe a day or two, who knows? But that's what I figured out. And he sent the raven, he sent the first bird out to go and check. And then waited a week and then resent the dove. And then it came back safe with an olive leaf. And then he waited another 7 days, which would have been like November 23rd. I think for that bird that came with the olive leaf. I think the
Oh
23rd.
yeah, he waited another 7 days before sending out another bird.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
basically it's like no,
come
it was
back.
a lot of in the month of November. Like a lot of that stuff was happening.
Which is actually interesting.
No,
Because, go
real
ahead.
quick though. I'm sorry. Real quick before I forget. This just had me kind of thinking though. Oh, I don't want to say. Okay, I'm gonna just say like there's some holidays where I feel like maybe some of them holidays are kind of a distraction because what if there's other dates that have more of a symbolism that they don't put on the calendar but that have really meaning, like let's just say for example Valentine's Day, because I know there was a day in the Bible something about February, but like what if during February sometime there's a stronger period a month, but because of all the emotions with Valentine's and people
People aren't paying
feeling,
attention.
yeah, like some people are in their
So the
feelings.
holidays are a distraction.
I'm not saying all holidays, but I'm just saying like I'm just saying what if some of them holidays is kind of a distraction, and I'm just saying like what if there's other days on the calendar that they don't bring light into, because I don't know, I just felt like they put a
I
lot of
think
dates
that
in the
your perspective is interesting for the simple fact that, okay, you saying not all holidays, but I kind of think that when you mention that, I think that is all holidays, especially the holidays at the end of the year because they come back to back to back. And the
Bible.
simple fact that you're talking about everything, like they're them being able to come off of the boat around this time of year.
Yeah,
What I was gonna say was I think it's interesting because this is usually winter time. November is like the start of winter,
yeah.
and so like that's the start of death. Like
Mm.
everything's dying off. The trees already done, like all the leaves and fell off the trees. It's
Mhm.
about to be winter time. It's about to be cold, and
Yeah.
so like, but at that time things are starting to grow back.
Mhm.
You know, so which would really be spring. You
Yeah.
know, but I think for the simple fact what you're saying with the holidays being a distraction, I think it's interesting because, well, I think the holidays might be a distraction. I think it's interesting because if it was true that there's certain things that's happening, like let's say in the cosmic realm, because remember God
Mhm.
did say that He put the planets and the stars for us to be able to use as signs and symbolisms to calculate, certain things to happen and like major events to happen.
Mhm.
So these time of years, there's major events happening, but we're distracted. We're not aware of these major events because we're so stuck on making sure we got everything focused for the holidays. It makes
Yes.
so much sense. We're
Yes.
missing every year. We're missing a chance for something. Who
Mhm.
knows?
And like I just noticed today or last night in the sky too, like it was a lot of star activity, like than normal. Like I saw like how they have those astronomy like line things, like when the lines are when the stars are aligned in a way where you draw like they have a line in each little the way you connect the stars have its
Talking
name.
about what they're called, the constellations.
Yeah, like a constellation. I saw a constellation and I need to Google it to see what that meant.
The
But I
big
saw a
dipper.
constellation. I was like, wow.
You
Like
saw the dipper or the little dipper
I don't know
or
how.
Orion's belt.
I have no idea what I see. It was like it was almost like some type of little swirl. Um,
Oh, like
but
a
then
cross.
I saw an arrow. I swear I saw an arrow. I don't know why I didn't take a picture of it, but I saw like an arrow. I'm like, what?
Huh.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was last night because I was just staring, and then I was staring hard because I was just looking at the two different stars, which I mean, I'm pretty sure they were probably planets, but they had like that red hue. Two of the stars. I know one is like Mars. Don't they say Mars has the red hue? And then another planet.
Oh, um, I want to say Saturn is the other one that people say they can see with the
Yeah,
eye.
girl. But back
Sure.
onto the what you were saying though, the whole like what we were both saying about holidays being a distraction. They've also like blown the holidays out of proportion too. Like you got to think the major point of society. And I'm just thinking like the companies, is they want their money. They have quotas to hit at the end of the year. So they're trying to push
Yeah,
out you to buy a lot of stuff. And I
yeah,
think that has blown out the whole like intention and gratitude and just stuff like that. Cause it's like on Thanksgiving, we want to go get that Black Friday deal. And then
mhm,
the times before Christmas, we want to do all that shopping in between that time. So really, we're
yeah.
focused on making money and then also like spending money to make sure like we get everybody kind of satisfied with gifts,
Yeah,
and it's just crazy. And then like some people have to work a little harder after the holidays because they got to pay for that stuff because they bought stuff that they couldn't really afford.
put on layaway. Is layaway
Yeah,
still a thing?
yeah. During the holidays, layaway comes out into shine into the yeah, surface.
Comes out of
I
the
know,
darkness and light.
girl, all I know is I know Burlington do it, and I know from my grandma, my mama, girl,
Yeah.
a couple years ago. Like that's the last time I was with them. They was doing that, but
Yeah, I haven't heard about layaway since I was a kid. I know my mom used to do layaway.
honestly, I'm always mind blowing because I'm like, how the heck are they keeping all this stuff organized for people's stuff? Like
Yeah.
that's hard. That got to be hard to keep all that stuff together and organize and be like, oh, it's been 3 months now. She's ready to get her stuff. Let's go in the back and go get her stuff. Like, well, but yeah, but okay. Um, okay. Uh,
I think we should call it a wrap and end it here because this is just going on way too long. It's already 11.
no, I know. I didn't mean for it to go this long. Okay.
We'll pick it up tomorrow.
All right. Well, this was fun. There's a lot of good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't
Okay.
even
Well,
allowed the patients to pray us out of here. It's 11 p.m. I'm ready to go.
oh, you ready to pray us out, or you want me to pray us out? What you say?
You can pray us out if you
Okay.
want to. I was saying I don't have the patience. I'm ready to
Oh,
go.
okay. Well, real quick, you know, Divine Mother and Father, I'm thankful for Thankful for another day. Thankful to be here in this space. I'm thankful for your words of wisdom. And I pray that everybody kind of receives everything that they are needing. And I just pray that you put a warm hand on everybody who needs you right now and needs your guidance and protection, and just be there for them in this moment. Um, and yes, and just protect your people and their journeys. Um, okay, in Jesus' name,
Amen.
amen. Bye.